Hey guys, Anders here. Today's topic is going to be about how to improve in Battlefield games, specifically how to go about it from like an individual perspective. I get this question a lot, and it's complex because you have to take into account a lot of things. You have to be able to identify your own personal issues. You have to be able to identify all sorts of things with your gameplay, and it's just really complex. So I wanted to try to make a video to help people out. One of the most helpful things that I did that made me improve a lot, and I think really gives me the edge over over other people when it comes to this, is when I started getting really sweaty at Battlefield, I noticed that, Battlefield is technically supposed to be played with, a squad of people. So I said, okay, I'm just going to play alone. Now, some people, find this boring, and yeah, it can be very boring, and it's also extremely frustrating. But one thing it makes you focus on is your individual gameplay. And this style of play is very dependent on your ability to adapt and to really perform. It really tries to force all of what you can do out of you. So I forced myself to play alone in Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 5 is really a game that is not designed to be played alone. In fact, it is designed to hinder lone players with, attrition, all this shit. So, that's my number one tip for improving. You have to play alone. Play alone, focus on your individual gameplay, identify your mistakes, record your own gameplay as well and watch it back. Like, clip something, maybe you thought it was good, but like watch the clip back and be like, oh, like this guy was marked on the map, or I didn't see him, or I should have been aiming here already, or just look for things that you might have missed that you could have picked up on in the moment. And that's another large part about it. You have to be able to identify your mistakes, and you have to know if it's a mistake or not. That can be pretty tricky. One thing I recommend doing is, it's so hard to explain. You have to know if it's a mistake or not. I really don't know how to explain that other than that. You just simply have to know. And don't forget, guys, there's really no substitute for gameplay. When Battlefield 5 first came out, which the reason I keep bringing that up is, when BF5 first came out, that is really when I decided to really go hard at it, right? And, I played a lot, and I can play a lot because it is, technically my job right now. I'm a student, so any free time that I have is really going to streaming or, making YouTube content. So I would just play and play and play, identify what I'm doing, adapt to what I have to do in the game itself, experiment with different weapons. That's another thing, experimenting with different weapons. So in the games you play when you're playing alone, you realize that Battlefield is really rarely a game where you can play one class and get away with it. And if you look at, for instance, I'm not going to name names. I'm really not thinking of anyone specific here. But sometimes you look at players' statistics and you see that they only play one class with one gun, maybe two guns. Battlefield is most effectively played with the class that best suits the situation, and I find it's a skill in its own right to identify what gun and what class would fit the situation the best. And to be able to dynamically identify that during the game is of extreme benefit. You'll notice sometimes when I'm streaming, say I'm playing Breakthrough on the attacking side, right? And typically I would go for medic, right? Because I am a particularly effective medic. I know where to smoke. I know how to exploit those smokes. I know how to, route. But if I'm finding that even when I'm pushing up, there are just more people behind those smokes, what I'll do is I'll switch to a ranged class, say Gewehr 43 or Turner SMLE, and I'll try to thin the herd out a little bit, you know what I mean? I'll try to thin people out from a distance, and then if I'm really, like, popping off in that one area and I kill a bunch of people, and then I die, that's when I switch back to medic, because that's the green light. you've made it easier for yourself now. You don't always have to fight people close up. You don't always have to fight people at long range. You just need to be able to identify that. A reminder, if you like the video, if you like these types of videos, you know, comment down below. Do you like these types of videos where I just random off? I'm just making this video now off a random thought after playing a few games. And, yeah. So, like the video. Leave a comment. What do you guys want to see from me next? I do have a supercomputer, and I was considering doing benchmarks, because I really don't see benchmarks of people showing the maximum performance, if that makes sense. Like, maximum performance in the sense of games performing at low settings. You always see high settings, but I think there's a missing niche for low settings benchmarks. So yeah, I hope you liked that little video. A reminder, top plays this Saturday, as always. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. I'm going to try to be one of the main sources for accurate Battlefield 6 information, as well as streaming it every single day at twitch.tv/enders. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter as well, and I will see you guys in the next one.